In this module, we will talk about the universal principles. In the Soul Artist Experience 1.0, we introduced the concept of the Hermetic Principles, knowing that we would take a deeper dive in the 2.0 course, and it's now time to do that. So now we'll talk in much greater depth than we did in the 1.0 course. These ancient principles have been handed down over centuries and are also known as Hermetic laws and cosmic laws. Different wisdom traditions have interpreted these laws according to their various belief systems. The universal principles are ancient, mystical, and secret teachings that date back over 5,000 years. The belief is that through these Hermetic principles you can achieve inner peace, a deeper connection to the universe, and a greater understanding of yourself. The laws are somewhat circular. They blend into and reinforce one another. As I went on my vision quest journey, I found many spiritual teachers referring to the laws in slightly different ways and with different names. Some wisdom traditions refer to 3 laws, 4 laws, 7 laws, 12 laws, 14 laws, or even 21 laws. Doctors Deepak Chopra and David Simon focused on 7 laws in the 7 spiritual laws of yoga. Our daily meditation, if you're following them, examines one of the 7 spiritual laws each day. The first universal principle we will talk about is the Law of Divine Oneness. We have seen consciousness being raised about social justice in the world. There's a growing awareness that what happens to one of us impacts all of us. Today, about 1/4 of the world population was born after the year 2000. The influence of this younger generation is being felt. Within the rising generation, there's a greater sensitivity to the needs of others, a greater willingness to share and support one another, while previous generations like mine have tended to be more self-oriented, more competitive and prejudicial. Maybe you have never burned your bra or chained yourself to a building or peacefully sat in a park to protest something or stormed a TV station or marched down the streets of your city with a banner. Yet for many people, there is a growing feeling of active awareness that what happens to one of us impacts us all. Hans Dekos, the famous numerologist, says a growing consciousness is a personal experience. Humanity doesn't necessarily have a consciousness. It represents the sum total of each individual's consciousness. When one person becomes more in touch with their spirit, soul, humanity, or whatever you call it, all of humankind benefits. When billions of people take a tiny step toward greater consciousness, it changes everything. The ancient teaching is that we are all one and we are all connected, not only to each other, but to all of nature and to everything in the universe. What we do to others, we do to ourselves. Spiritual philosopher Abdul Baha said, the most important principle of divine philosophy is the oneness of the world of humanity, the unity of mankind, the bond conjoining East and West, the tie of love, which blends human hearts. So really think about this concept that we are linked together through one source made of the same essence. How might you depict this connection artistically? Like an interconnected web of energy, everything we do sends vibrations throughout the entire network, affecting the collective consciousness. As I walked the path of what I call my vision quest, I sought answers to spiritual questions. As I made my journey, I kept a notebook. Along with my notes, I included imagery, sketches, doodles, quotes, sacred geometry, and poetry. And I began to think of this as spiritual art. It helped me remember what I was learning. Similarly, in the Soul Artist Experience, each artist creates art journal pages to explore these concepts. And so I ask you to create an art journal page representing your interpretation of the Law of Divine Oneness, or any or all of these laws that we're going to be talking about, any that really resonate with you. And you'll use words, shapes, poetry, quotes, images, colors that showcase your view of a connection between all, if you choose this one to dive into. For right now, just take notes and allow yourself some time to think about the concept of divine oneness. Now, no one expects your art journal page to be a masterpiece or even hang on a wall. This is meant to be your own deep personal work. I really invite you to check your ego at the door and allow yourself to play, create, and use your journal to fully explore and learn about these laws. It's deeply personal work that allows you to place milestones along your own transformational path. So keep working to silence any negative self-talk about what you're creating and give yourself the freedom to play. Your journals catalog your inner transformation and become deep friends. You might create an inspirational page related to social justice, maybe an insight or revelation from your meditation practice. You might include a mantra or an affirmation that conveys the spirit of connection, like Aham Brahmasmi, which means I am the universe. Some of my favorite work from soul artists on this subject of divine oneness are those art journal pages that reflect the divinity within each of us and how to open yourself up to divine love. So keep taking notes about divine oneness, and if something I say resonates with you, include it in your page. Quantum physics shows us a oneness among all creatures. Everyone and everything is part of the whole. We breathe the same air, exchange the same molecules, drink the same water, and we exchange energy in our thoughts and interactions. Maybe you once watched that 2004 movie, What the Bleep Do We Know? Or some other movie that touches on quantum physics that inspired you, or you read a poem that inspired you. No man is an island, as John Donne said. Any man's death diminishes me because I am involved in mankind, and therefore never seek to know. For whom the bell tolls for thee. We take this law of oneness a step further in our course together. If there is a oneness among all, then we are all one with God. There's no separation between us and God. This is a core belief in Vedanta. Our soul, at its deepest level, recognizes that everyone is the same self in different disguises. To me, the law of oneness means that everything we do has a ripple effect and impacts the collective, not just ourselves. Our actions both matter and make a difference. When we live our life with an awareness of this interconnectivity, we give ourselves the capacity to live our most divine life. By knowing that we are all connected, we give ourselves the power of empathy, which has the capacity to change the world. You see the beautiful work of the soul artists who have been on this journey a while, and I'm excited to see your work if you decide to focus on the law of divine oneness.